Okay. Rashidele, can you hear me? Okay. Okay. Oh. Here's here.
So I think it's it might be a few minutes late.
Okay, no problem. Okay. Okay, let's start then. Sanje Judon Soje Junamna, Shanjo Bado, Dani Jabzu She, Daje Jinzon, Gebe, Sonam Ye, Dona Benje, Sanje Jubor Show. Sanje Judon Soje Junamna, Shanjo Bado, Dani Jabzu She, Daje Jinzo, Gebe, Sonam Ye, Rola Benje, Sanje Jubor Show. Sanje Judon Soje Junamna. Dāni jāsū jī dāgi jīnsū gībī sōnam jī rōlā pēnjī sāngjī rūgā shū. Tōngi wīngi jī sūndō rūgā nōm jī jī sānsā kāñjī dēn rūgā chānā bēmā tīnzī jāsū. Sōwān dēsū shī dēn rūgā shū. Rāmchā sōng rōgā nā tāwē mē kēsān tāpūrā rūgā shū. Shū dzēvē jūbī tāpjēn. Shēnjī shīnyē chē lā chā cē rō. Okay, I mean in English. Well, yeah, refuge.
In the Buddha, the Dharma, the Supreme Assembly, I take refuge until I can through the merit of practicing generosity and so on, maintain Buddhahood for all sentient beings.
Now, we are continuing the...
A ver, vamos a continuar.
Okay. We are continuing the 8th chapter, which we started, and we left it between how many months? Like 2 months?
Yeah,
3 months. Oh, 3 months.
A ver, no sé si estoy activado como intérprete.
Yeah, okay. On the sound. Now, people who we studied together the 7th chapter, the joyous effort, right? And Shambhakardo, did you
conscientiousness,
vigilance.
Vigilance is the 6th.
There are so many terminology. So, but my favorite one is kind of
patience.
Patience.
That's chapter 6.
6 by 7. Joyous effort. Many people already heard why I liked this translation, because it carries the joy. So it's true that if we ask ourselves in day-to-day life how we enjoy our life and how we wasted our life, some looking from different angles. So some people are thinking, oh, this person is wasting their life. But then the person who is doing positive or negative things, he's doing it because he is enjoying that. And then what's the one great thing and one danger thing is if you start liking it, and then nobody can stop it. Even Buddha comes in front of you, it is difficult. That's why every time when we receive a teaching from His Holiness and the great masters, and for like if until the period of the teaching, we feel like, oh, I have wasted my life so much. Now I need to be serious in the practice. And then right after the teaching, maybe you go to the cafe and meet a friend. It takes no effort to become the ordinary who you are, where you belong. There could be so many reasons. I think one of the biggest reason is why we come back to the pattern, come back to the original form is because one reason, because you like what you're doing it. So then we will always say why these teachings are so good, but it is not going inside. The biggest obstacle is we have so many things in our life occupied. I think we like the things which normally you think it's not okay, but deep inside there's a joy when you do it. And that's why. And if you can touch to this kind of the point where you think it's so, you like it so much, but that is the cause. That can be the rooted thing is going to cause me a problem. If you can answer that, and then you don't need to ask nobody for answer. Should I practice? Should I do my commitments? Should I do this and that? No question needed. You can answer it. You will start to look for the answer with the cravingness. Is there a word cravingness?
Like craving is okay.
I'm being too smart here. Okay. 다체장가 준주기 준주당 다 삼대니. 다 단다데 삼대니 신의 걸 소용 거 봐. 지상 된저비 신의디 아니 어랑주 셈 템부스에 직당 셈나 까니만 보시 직행기 나랑주 나로라 직 까니만 보시 까니엔 딜이야 아니 타다 찍고 송어 많이 봐. 근데 이제 송야데 아니 아주 큰 조지어 말했을 때 단다데 삼대야 신의 라비아데 강라야 천주심기 평연송 아니 서버 검당송 바이오 된당송 아니 준주 검당다 상마지 조사비 쇼데라 다 당동양 아니 셈나로라 되게 천주고 쓰면 매구 천주고 쓰면 대봐 다 되게 서버 검발래양 또지게 미디게 선바에 템보 여대지 강시지라 다 당동양 아니 스테바디 지카르소레 쉘 템보지 마요에 됐다 가르레 세르선데 아니 다 디주 아니 something laboratory essence.
So the next part of the text is dealing with the going from the chapter on joyous effort into the chapter on something meditative absorption or meditative concentration, and the chapter 8 is about primarily about sort of developing developing these meditative absorptions, but as a process of that developing shamatha. And this is not just something that's done in order to help us to create a kind of stability within our mind, and it's not just done in order to help us to overcome some kind of certain amount of difficulties within our lives. It's not only for that reason, but this has a context, a background, which stems from all of the other chapters that have led up to this point. So you have chapters on the benefits of cultivating bodhicitta, the chapters on developing and sort of helping us to maintain a kind of vigilance and kind of conscientiousness about our conduct, and then also in terms of patience, and so what may happen is, on the basis of those, we may have developed a certain amount of patience in relation to different factors. We may have, and we may, to some extent, have got a some aspiration towards the faith in, or aspiration towards the Bodhisattva path, or the development of cultivation of bodhicitta. But then that may not, and there may, some of those factors may be in place, but there may not be a stability to those. And so this chapter on meditative absorption, it starts to so that lack of stability, the cause for that lack of stability, this chapter deals with the kind of counteract to that lack of, although there may be something in place, that lack of stability in a kind of strength to those.
Also in his commentary of Geshe Rinpoche, also the commentary by Tobin Shogitawa, it says very clearly that the person who is studying and practicing this 8th chapter should have a motivation to kind of to fight back to the negative emotion, and person has some kind of this attitude of saying, now up to now I've been under the sway of this negative emotion. He's smiling because he taught me that. He taught me this word, you know, and my teacher is happy. So the under the sway of this, so now you are so determined, right?
Determined, yeah.
That I need to fight back with this antidote. The antidote, which is not other than how to reduce the ignorance mind, and then having this kind of a strong faith in this, and then this person will ask himself and try to get some information how to make the mind stable. So this is the person who will study this 8th chapter. This is powerful, and Tobin Shogitawa quoted the Shantideva's
compendium of trainings.
Compendium
of trainings.
of trainings. So you can read that.
So I wanted to highlight a passage that Thupten Chögyal Rinpoche quotes in the initial part of his commentary on the 8th chapter, where he says, so this is from Shantideva's Compendium of Trainings, where it says that strive hard in strive hard in what is to be to have forbearance in regard to, which is hearing or study or hearing. Then from there, go off into the remote forests. Then strive hard in placing ourselves in equipoise and meditate on such things as the unpleasantness of things. So that's the quote from, and should I do the commentary as well?
Oh, no need.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
need.
So that's the quote from Compendium of Training.
So this quote is somebody who is really into shamatha business. I think they need this recipe. These every time when you try to think of shamatha, we need to get this idea. So why I'm saying this, because mostly when we talk about shamatha, and especially people from the West who had a very tiring life and struggling a lot in the life, and then plus having the depression and anxiety and so on, and then they wanted to not to face the problem. They wanted to just run away from the situation. And then once they hear about meditation, shamatha, and then they were just like, oh, that's cool. I don't need to think about anything and just focus. It's really good, very helpful. This technique is so good, but not enough. Because that person, if he is going to meditate like this, rest of his life, and guarantees that he is going to enjoy this way of his new style in his life, then okay. But not. But it's more like, I don't know in the English if you have this, but in Tibetan we have ansar. And if you have something new think, and then you are so excited,
Yeah, exactly.
and then maybe after a few days later it's gone. You have something like,
I think.
see, you guys are better. You don't have that.
No, it's not that. Just can't think of the word. Yeah, kind of. What's the not excitement? But excitement is one of the words.
It's kind of excitement, but that excitement which is
like a kid at Christmas.
very like the kids do have that.
More of it is excited, that kind of excitement of getting something new. So like a kid at Christmas, that kind of.
Yeah, Christmas gift. They just open it and then they just like, and few hours later they're just like they don't care. So this kind of attitude. So this is happening. This is happening. So because it's happening, because with this kind of technique, it's not enough. Not enough to face the problem. Because we might have a ability to escape from one problem, but there is a next version of the problem in a different form. And then next. It's more like a boy who's changing girlfriends. The first and second and third, different sort of problems are there. But he's not expecting this problem. But so like this, if we try to think shamatha is helpful, that you don't need to think anything, just looking into the like focusing in one object, then you don't need to think anything. That's not powerful enough. the most beautiful thing about shamatha is right after the shamatha, we need to connect better. We need to become stronger. We can sit with our annoying friend longer time, on growing more compassion. So, and with so much love, that makes us powerful. So like this, as the quote from the Shantideva, saying,
Yeah, actually, I translated it wrong. It's seek out is not to strive in. It's seek out that which you have to develop patience into regard, which is hearing or listening to the teachings. So seek it out, not strive.
So first, Secha is to cultivate, to
Something
you say
you
that?
practice patience in regard
Yeah.
to the object of patience.
Because we already talked in the earlier chapter about patience. One of the difficult patience is sit down and study and to connect the dots. That's more difficult. We can read Shantideva's text. We can read many commentaries, but we have no idea how to connect this practice to that. This is a special power which we have. Maybe we haven't awakened this one. So it doesn't matter how much you study. If you cannot connect means like to your own practice, for on your benefit, how are you going to connect this practice to that? So otherwise, then we may feel like studying, contemplating, meditation, sometimes go 3 different ways. That's the reason why we sometimes think like, I don't want to study so much, I wanted to meditate. That means you cannot connect the dots of what you have studied. You cannot connect to the practice. If you can do that, more information is much better, more powerful. So, it is very necessary that whenever we think about shamatha, we need to make it more powerful than just thinking shamatha is just thinking of not anything, just one single pointed meditation. It's much more than that. So it is much more than that, because what it's saying is right after this shamatha, you have more power to engage in the
the opponent or the opponent of the opponent, or do we have more opportunity, more power to challenge the afflictions, to stand and face the afflictions.
So that's more powerful. And then sometimes I would say sometimes because our practice is weak, our antidote is weak. So that's why sometimes in order to make yourself stronger, then we try to take a break from this negative emotion. This could happen. That means not escaping, it's taking a break. It's like a movie. In the movie, we have the antagonist, protagonist and antagonist got into a fight, and then protagonist was beaten so badly, and then the actor or the character, he goes to somewhere, learn martial arts, make himself powerful, And the antagonist might think he's gone, he's coward. But during the period of that disappearance, he's making him so much stronger. And then he comes back from out from his retreat from the jungle with the martial arts. Then he shows his power. This is the win-win game. So same here, we need to have this shamatha of this, like making your mind much stronger. And then what? Is to come back and to see. Not to say like, oh, I almost got a shamatha now. It's not just giving a news to your friends. It's to check whether you are stronger than before. So this is what Shantideva is. We'll talk after this. I just wanted to remind you. Second verse, we already finished the first one, right? Our first word, we can. Can you read the first and second one?
When developed enthusiasm in this way, I should place my mind in concentration. For the person whose mind is distracting dwells between the things of disturbing conceptions. However, through solitude of body and mind, no distractions will occur. Therefore, I shall forsake the worldly life and completely discard distorted conceptions.
당고들 대비나 제가 준주 깨내니 이니 준주 깨변 일 띵이지는 샤 이니 띵이지는 샤 셈는 넘버링 위미 명문 체외 타나네 다 니바디 류단 셈니 엠바이 넘버 영어미 중스 다 류다 셈니데 넘버 엠바스 두점비 류리나 안내지게 남자 균도네 담면데 봐 가리치니 전에 체마 주업체 류주고 샤야디 류기 엠바된다 셈게 엠바된다디 남도 담면데 샤야디야 봐 같이 남도 지수 마창와 샤야디 다 디르도 고 차견데 봐서 신의 루베 가블이야 차견 당보도 줘
checking so looking through the verses again, so having developed enthusiasm in this way, I should place my mind in concentration. For the person whose mind is distracted dwells between the pangs of disturbing conceptions. So that's the first verse. So in relation to the first two lines of the second verse, where it says, "But through solitude of body and mind, no distractions will occur." So in the root text here, it talks about distractions of through the solitude of body and mind, and then also so therefore distractions related to body and mind. So one important sort of thing to take out of this is that so how to think about the distractions of the body. We would think of the distractions of the body as those activities that we normally those kind of physical activities that we normally just commonly, like without thought, kind of engage in. And so solitude from that would be trying to prevent ourselves from getting involved in all those kind of regular physical activities. In terms of solitude of the mind, so that's the physical distraction. And then in terms of the solitude of the mind, then it should be the way in which our distracted mind follows our kind of conceptual environment, and then the solitude from that would be not following those kind of conceptual trains of thought, so preventing that from happening. So this would be a sort of way of that's the way we should really talk about the solitude of body and mind, by preventing those two things.
When we talk about Lygicholam, right? Lygicholam, Lygicholam,
The conduct, physical conduct,
physical conduct
or behavior, physical behavior.
Seven
the seven categories of either positive or negative conduct related to the related to the physical. Oh, sorry. Non-negative because of the yeah. So the seven, sorry, not that at all. The seven Vajrasattva posture, Vajrachana posture, the 7-point Vajrachana posture. So that would be one of these, the seven sort of categories of that.
So when we talk about that, when we talk about this, so then we say, if we sit, we can meditate like, why not my own style, like just sleeping in the, like, the winter is almost here now. So the morning sleep is the best in your warm blankets, and then you can just go and meditate, just in the sleeping style. But we don't say we are taught, we are advised not to do that. We need to sit the Vajrachana posture.
7-point Vajrachana posture.
These, it's not only just because I think Buddha said it, or our teachers says this is good, but with the reason, logic, it really works very nicely. Because when you are just lying down, and then somebody gives you some kind of a good news or a bad news, you will not just have with no reaction, just say like, okay, that's bad news, or that's good news. You won't say like that. And it's really bad news, you just go like, what? The posture is very straight. So that means when you need very strong concentration, your mind needs your body's help to stay straight. So this, of course, it works with not only, I think, us, also animal, right? So they need a deep awareness of like listening. They have their own kind of way of doing it. Postures. So, and then discipline. Once you set this discipline, I think then it is, you need to see how will we like to have this discipline. Normally when we say discipline, we don't like it. So how to like the discipline? When you see benefit out of there. If you don't see any benefit, and then you think, yes, I need to do it, it is helpful, I was told it is helpful, and then how long you're gonna do it? For a month and 2, and then you will stop doing it. There one same reason, I don't like it. That's it. So we need to check how that discipline has given us kind of improvement in our life. Like an army, going to army, okay, first they don't like the trainings, or so much training, but then slowly when they get kind of training, they get used to it, and then they will be the one in the member of the family, they will make their own bets. Bets. Normally lazy people, they want to do it, including myself. They will just come out from their casual blanket and not folding it, just put it there like this. But the person who has a good discipline from army training, they need to roll back because of folding
fold up.
blankets is easy for them. But for spoiled people like me, it's not easy. I just need to go at night like this, same style, not much doing it. So washing dishes, everything, disciplined. But for us, it's difficult. For that person, it is not difficult because he sees now as part of his life and he sees benefit out of there. But if he does not see as a benefit, when he comes out from the training, the first thing he will do is he can be the worse than us because he didn't see the benefit of the life. So that is the thing. We need to see the benefit, huge benefit. So whether it's patience, whether it's the concentration, whatever practice, it is based on, I think, the choice effort, and then especially the joy. And here, this something, the concentration, and especially this meditation path, it talks about how can this meditation help you, the boost of the joy, right?
Yeah.
So that's the meditation what we're talking about. How much this joy of what you're doing, the joy lasts longer, and then the meditation stays longer. Very logical, right? Logical,
Yes, very logical.
very logical. Like a movie. You just drawn into the movie's storyline is very good, and then you are into this movie. You cannot say like, I will finish it tomorrow. You wanted to complete it. It doesn't matter what's happening. If your parents call you or your girlfriend is calling, you don't care. I want to finish this movie. So that's the joy is pulling you from inside. Similarly, in the meditation time, one focus is that 먼저 뒤와 시내 고백가블이야 아니 동아 저기 류심 신장 때와.
Yeah, so when we're meditating on shamatha, then there's these very important factors of mental and what are called mental and physical pliancy, and developing those as supports to the meditation. The kind of bliss or happiness or comfort of the mental and physical pliancy.
Physical and mental pliancy. So these are the two keys that you can bring the concentration much stronger. So we don't need to just think like, oh, the Buddha said it. It's a logic. We do have that. For an example, we are so familiar with these negative emotions. Not the good ones, the bad ones. One is the aversion, and one is the attachment. Tell me which lasts much longer. Attachment. 100% sure. Why? The joy is there. That's logic, isn't it? That's it. So one time His Holiness said, if a person stays angry like a very strongly for maybe whole day, he might die. Couldn't be happening. So it goes with the logic. So now, Lusim Luda Semne Ambai number Yawa Mijungos, Dading in the margin energy law. We're going to read this. Hardship to the girl to the Jenny, Yini things in the Shabbat, the thingy, a chinguji single number in Vesa. That the person who wanted to do degenerate shamatha has to know a little bit of the what is chingwa in Goba. Chingwa's
Mental dullness or
Dullness.
thinking and agitation. Chingwa is thinking,
Thinking.
dullness, and Gerba is agitation, mental agitation.
Thinking is the chingwa.
Chingwa, or thinking or dullness.
Dullness is better, I think. Dullness, chingwa. Goba is the
Agitation.
Agitation. Okay. When there is dullness during the meditation time, one thing is there's no clarity. Right. No clarity. First problem, I think, what do you think? There's no clarity when you try to meditate. When you try to meditate, when the mind is quite stable, not when you are very occupied with other things, but when you are meditating, you reserve your time for meditation. And then when you spend your time meditating, the problem will be the dullness. And then if there is not a clarity and the object during the meditation, and then we don't know where the mind has to stay. We need a mind to stay somewhere, but then we cannot find where to stay. Then it's the problem. And then there is that we call dullness. But then one mistake we always do is we try to bring clarity of the object so vividly,
vividly, intensely or vividly.
So clear. That's one wrong thing.
Too vivid.
Our great masters are always advising when you can have a little focus, that focus of the object should be powerful. Not very, needs to be very vividly clear picture. We are not talking about high resolution, like 4K or 8K. We don't need to go in pixel to pixel. The thing is, we need some kind of that object, and that object has to be very powerful. So how are you going to make this object powerful? That is one big question. If somebody is going to meditate on a shamatha, and then they will ask for an object of the shamatha, right? Some says their wife's picture is very powerful. Huh? In the Hindu system, they have that. And then, of course, when they say wife, a girlfriend is there, of course. And then some says their guru's picture is more powerful. And then holy objects, we bring that. And then even we can bring any kind of object in front of it can. But why holy object? Because these holy object has to be like, when we think this is so powerful, it's more like we are doing nothing and just gossiping, and then His Holiness Dalai Lama enters. Whatever we've been talking, enjoying, it will just go like this. With the power of His Holiness Dalai Lama entering into the house. You don't care, but only this is the focus now. Like this, when you have this kind of image as the object of your meditation, then it's powerful. Why powerful? For time to time, when distractions will come up, and the object itself has a power to bring down the distractions. And then while focusing, there is a clarity, not like vivid very clearly, but there's clarity. And then distraction will be the most powerful there. Distraction comes, you need to make the object, the image object of the meditation more powerful, more powerful. That's I think, what the samadhi is about. So now the question really is, how are you going to make this more powerful? More powerful? In the Hindu system, they say, I need to stay in the meditation very strongly because my teacher, who he has so much faith into, he said this, I really need. Due to the faith of his guru, he's doing it. It can be done. But similarly, when you have your own reasons, that purpose, now remember, I need to go back to this protagonist and antagonist story, who is still having so much what it's called, training in the mountains to fight back to the, not the hate, with the hatred, with seeing the hope. With sitting with this, you feel like there's no hope at all. But without this, and with having the right antidote, this is my pure hope. With this kind of intention, we need to train ourselves. So then, these second verse, I think it's mentioning this or the last two.
The first two lines, the last two.
Last two words is the 대외 직된 방장신 넘버 또보 용수 tor 대외는 류 엠베기 탑 직된기 신년당 저 눈주소 방차신 이디잖아 저 로션디스.
So just in relation to the second two lines of the second verse, where it says, therefore I should forsake the worldly life and completely discard distorted conceptions. And then in Gyaltsab Je's commentary to that, so I'm reading from the translation that we have in the group, it says, if I asked, how does one abandon mental wandering? Through isolating body and mind from distraction. Oh, sorry. So hence, through the method of physical isolation, one abandons distractions such as meeting with worldly friends, relatives, and so forth. Through the method of isolating the mind, one perfectly destroys thoughts for desirous objects. That's the commentary to the second two lines.
So it's kind of saying, with this kind of intention to generate shamatha, people who go outside to enjoy life, samsara life, and each and every time their teacher or their friends, he will come to know himself. These people are sometimes kind of having a bad influences. For what? Weakening my mind. And then he will say, I need to keep a distance from the way of his thinking. And then if he starts getting like, I need to spend more time with this kind of people, it kind of brings such a great influence to my practice. So that person is kind of he's becoming one wise person, which he's looking for this antidote. So right now, whenever if we don't have a kind of a wish to fight back to the negative emotions, and then you sit with your friends, and then the friends start talking about a kind of
not sort of non sort of kind of meaningless things which are not related to Dharma in any way. Sort of frivolous activity, frivolous kind of.
But to be honest, even if it's not a Dharma thing, but sometimes some talks are like to have like relax. We cannot talk with Dharma every time. So relax. But there are sometimes we need to be aware of that person has a strong influence of giving a reason, like if you have a problem with that person and he is trying to come and help to fix the problem, but he might say something that it's pleasant for your ear and your mind, which you at the same time, if you don't have a strong awareness, it might become a kind of a poisonous. If you have a problem with your enemy and your friend comes in and he says like, well, yeah, it's everything is blame on him because he did this to other person and people, and for you just got in this, and you will feel like he's comforting me. Actually, it looks like, but deep inside, that person is making you weak. If you get another person's like this is change the way of thinking. This might be not only the situation. You need to think not a narrow. You don't be narrow-sided, right? Narrow-minded. You need to be open up more. If this person comes up, you might not have a room for this person. But if you have a strong awareness to improve your lifestyle or the practice, and these kind of people are needed. So then you will appreciate whom help that you have got, that one or that. So that's why great Bodhisattva, Tongme Sangpo, in the 37 practices of Bodhisattva, when he gave us the definition of what the Guru friend, a teacher is like, he said very nicely, he said, if there is some kind of without much effort, that you are getting the good influence without much effort, like you are getting like this, and this is the definition of a good friend and a good teacher. And then on the other hand, you're getting some kind of a negative influence, and then bringing your negative things much stronger and stronger. That is definition of a bad friend, which I totally agree. So for that reason, the kind Shantideva here he's saying, don't say it, can just do it. Don't say.
Dutsi. Dutsi is like a kind of frivolous activities or frivolous entertainment. Dutsiro.
Don't do. Don't say.
Yeah, frivolous kind of activities or kind of meaningless or frivolous activities. Entertainment, kind of frivolous. Frivolous means that the Dharma Yeah, so then also the meaning of whether something is meaningful or not meaningful is also a little bit complicated as to what is meaningless and not.
So yeah, so our mind need to be very strong.
Maybe like superficial activities, something like that.
So one time, when I was very young, I think I was 13 or 14 years old. That time, I was traveling in the train, and then whenever the train stop at the train station, I feel so happy to go out and buy drinks and samosa and all these junk foods there. So I like it very much. So one time I went out and got something, and then there's some one poor lady or elderly lady. She looks like she's in a very difficult situation, and she couldn't walk very well. So I gave her like with so much kind of my mind really moved from the depth of my heart, from the strong compassion came out, and then I offered her like maybe 100 rupees. In 90, in 90s,
back in the day, it was
100 rupees is like wow. And then my attendant next to me, he's been very kind to me. He said like, why did you give this old lady 100? And he gave one logic reason. He said, if you give 100 now this lady has more craving for, like, if somebody comes and give 10 rupees, like that's big deal at that time. And now she won't feel this 10 rupees is something precious because you already gave 100. And then I just looked at him like, I couldn't say anything. I was so young, and I couldn't say no with him. And the train went, and then I was so puzzled or confused. And that stayed very strongly. So then slowly, I came to give this answer to myself. That one is, it is not for us to think what you will think. It is more, it is, my mind is so completed now. I'm so happy that I have make this mind of compassion, just whatever the compassion wanted to do it, I let it do it. And one thing, I don't have any regrets doing this. And then secondly, the joy lasts very long. Maybe these 100 rupees might not last long for me, but the joy I have given this, and how she used this, or that doesn't matter. But I'm so happy that I cannot normally give it like this. There is a time it come out so strongly that 100 rupees is just nothing. It's like $100 at that time. That $100 is nothing for me at that time. So the situation of the lady and my mind is much stronger than that. That period of time is very rare in our life. So like this, it is kind of a necessary why I'm saying this. Help me, help me, help me.
To do with the physically, you know, these meaningless activities or
Oh,
superficial activities.
yeah, that's a debate with my friend or attendant. It's meaningful or not. So if I listen he completely, I might have a regret. But I didn't listen to him. But I couldn't answer that. But somehow I felt that there is better answer than that. I waited. For such a long time, it stayed very strongly. Searching for the truth. It happened. It happened. So, yeah. So, it is when you feel you did something meaningful, and we need to feel why it's meaningful. That's the seal. Many of us, we do so many things with the eight worldly concerns. People are doing, I should do it. People say, this is good, I should do it. And somebody respects me, I need to give it to somebody. Otherwise, what will people say? All of these sort of things, it's happening, which is so meaningless. It's so meaningless. Like, whoa, time is finished now. In the West, we have birthday party. And there's in the Tibetan custom, we don't have much birthday parties. But now it's coming up. So the birthday party is one example. Like me and Simon, for an example. I have a birthday party. We celebrate together. You give me a present. And then I need to give him a present now. It's more not from here. It is more like he has given me. Now, it will be so mean or so unrespectful if not to give him something else. It's not coming from here, actually. So then, is the present, if he give me something, a chocolate, I need to give him a better chocolate. And if he gives me something very expensive, if he gives me like $100, okay, that's a hint, eh?
Yes.
He gives
But I'm
me
expecting two.
a pound. A pound.
It's coming up.
He gives me a 100 pound. That's better for 100 pound. And then I need to give him a little more extra, like 110 rupees. So something more we need to give, right? So it's not more, it's coming from here. That's why in Canada, when my host said, like, we need to celebrate my birthday party, I said no, and she said yes, and then okay, it happened, and then before her children had a birthday party, and then I gave her the children present. So there's one child. The son is like in 20s. He's my favorite. He when mother said, like, well, everybody has given Rinpoche something, why didn't you offer Rinpoche anything? And he said, like, I have a reason why I didn't give up Rinpoche a birthday present. He said, like, Rinpoche give me like a worth $100 something shoes, and now if I give Rinpoche like $100 something, so what it looks like, what Rinpoche has given to me, I'm giving back to him. So I feel this is so unrespectful. For that reason, I kept.
Wow, it's smart.
Cannot debate anymore. Looks good logic and reason, but this is how it's more about it's coming out from here or not. Mostly we do not from here. It's more like competition or something. So whether it's meaningful or not, it comes from here. It is not with to challenge other people, what other people think. So you have to really connect down here. So Shantideva will somewhere in the verse 3 or 4, he will connect this shamatha, how to make this shamatha meaningful. So that we will do it next time. Okay. Dedication.
Having thoroughly investigated and recalling all that I've heard day and night through the four reasonings, mind-born of reflection on these topics of contemplation, make us discern from several doubts. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you're the source of all happiness and good. All powerful Chin as it tends and gets, so please remain into the samsara ends. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, and I enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the grounds and paths like the Buddha state of Bodhisattva. I fully dedicate all these virtues to be able to train just like the hero Manjushri who knows reality, and just like Samantha as well. I fully dedicate all my roots of virtue, but the dedication praised is the best by all the gone beyond victorious ones of the 3 times in order to have good conduct. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread or once spread have declined, I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid.
Okay, thank you. See you next time.
Grazie Rinpoche.